Good afternoon. Thanks for joining us today for CEP Live on Facebook. I'm Susie Fagan with the Climate and Energy Project, and we are live today at the Lawrence Public Library here with Andy Rondon from Good Energy Solutions. We'd like to welcome Andy.
Hey, thanks for having me.
We want to say thank you to the Lawrence Public Library for its use of the Sound and Vision Recording Studio. It's a great resource, and they have wonderful staff here who help us out with our recordings. For those of you who are new to the Climate and Energy Project, we are a Kansas nonprofit working toward a clean energy future in Kansas. You can stay up to date with our news by liking us on Facebook and Twitter at CEP Heartland. You can also check out our website, which is www.climateandenergy.org. And Andy is joining us for Good Energy Solutions, which is part of the Clean Energy Business Council, another of our endeavors, and you can follow the Clean Energy Business Council on Facebook and Twitter at Clean Energy 4, that's the numeral 4, biz, B-I-Z. The website is cleanenergyforbusiness.com. They're also on Instagram. The ID there is Clean Energy 4 Biz, and LinkedIn, Clean Energy Business Council powered by CEP. Andy's here to help us learn more about clean energy in Kansas and explain what distributed generation means. I'm going to let Andy introduce himself now.
Hey, my name is Andy Rondon. I'm the sales manager at Good Energy Solutions. We are a solar installer based out of Lawrence, Kansas. Been doing solar for 10 years. Just celebrated 10 years in December and had a big party in April. And so we've seen a lot over the past 10 years, and we're looking forward to a clean energy future. If you want to connect with Good Energy Solutions, both of our handles for Facebook and Twitter are Good Energy Solutions, one word, no spaces, and our website is www.goodenergysolutions.com.
Great, thanks for that information. We are here to answer your questions also today, so if you have those, please enter them, write them in the comments field, and our assistant here today, Rachel, will pass them along so we can answer them. And if you have any, if you're watching this later when we're not live, you can also add questions in the comment field, and we will answer those also. We'll keep track of that. Part of what we're overviewing today is an upcoming series of film screenings and workshops across Kansas that CEP is organizing to highlight the state's clean energy potential. We're going to work with partners in each community to coordinate and promote the events and to encourage people to attend and learn more about distributed generation. Each of those events will start with a screening of a short film, Happening, A Clean Energy Revolution, by James Redford that tracks his journey as he learns about clean energy. After the film, there'll be a panel discussion and some question and answer sessions with audience members. On the next morning, we'll have smaller workshops for smaller groups where participants can really get more in-depth information about distributed generation. So Andy, as a member of the Clean Energy Business Council, will be serving on some of those post-film panels along with other solar and wind advocates, and he'll be a speaker at some of those workshops. So we're going to talk a little bit more about distributed generation now and some of those events with Andy. We'll start with one question. Andy, while most people are familiar with clean energy sources like solar panels or wind turbines, they may not know what distributed generation means. So can you explain that concept and its role in clean energy?
Yeah, so distributed generation is kind of it's being implemented more recently, but it's the other option would be centralized generation. So we're talking nuclear plants, coal power plants, and even those large wind farms that you see along the highway in Kansas. Those are even centralized generation. Distributed generation is usually a much smaller system located on a residence, located in a neighborhood if you did community solar, or located on a business. So it's usually directly attached to a off-taker, whereas centralized generation is owned by the utility and could probably power a whole city at a time, whereas a distributed sized system would be able to power a neighborhood or a business.
All right, thank you. why is it important for Kansans to be thinking about and talking about distributed generation right now?
Yeah, so distributed generation, there's something there for everybody. Solar and renewables are one of the fastest growing jobs categories in the country, and so it's a great way for us to kind of help grow jobs here in Kansas. We've got great solar resource, and in order to do that, we just need a little bit of support from the legislature. To kind of help make that happen. I think that people that are into renewables and distributed generation for the environmental benefits are already aware, and that's probably one of the first things people think about. But there really are some jobs benefits to renewables. Furthermore, distributed generation is actually good for the grid on the whole. So you don't have to be the person purchasing solar or wind to get the benefits from it. Those benefits are widely shared, whether they're environmental or honestly cost. There's a few case studies here in the Midwest of how solar and distributed generation has actually been used by utilities to reduce overall costs.
All right, excellent. As a host or presenter at these upcoming events, what are some of the topics and issues you hope that will be addressed or heard when they're talking about distributed generation?
Yeah, so we're going to be going over very briefly the technology of solar and wind and like what's actually going on. But I think that the meat of the presentation in the panels is going to be about policy here and what's going on in your city, in your county, whether you buy power from a city municipality, a rural cooperative, or an investor-owned utility such as Westar, KCP&L. There's lots of different things that affect what you're allowed to do, and there's lots of different rules. So just understanding, solar in your specific area, because we'll be doing these workshops all throughout Kansas, as far as Dodge, as close as Overland Park. We're in Lawrence right now, and so we'll be doing them all over the state, and there are variations. So we'll be talking about solar in your neighborhood.
All right. What are some of the things that you hope participants will learn from that?
Yeah, I think that we're wanting people to understand that solar and distributed generation are good for you, even if you're not the person actually doing it. We're also just wanting people to realize that there are many installations, close to you that you may not see because it's on the roof of maybe a two-story building, and you just have no idea that it's there. So this is something that is happening now. It's happening close to you, and there are opportunities for you to partake in it directly or indirectly.
I think probably some Kansans have seen, the wind turbines as you're driving across the state, or solar panels, but they haven't given them a lot of thought. So why, if you were one of those people that really hadn't thought about it much, why would you want to plan to attend one of these events?
Yeah, just to learn more, learn about how solar positively affects you, and we'll be having some pretty good discussions, hopefully with some local authorities about what's going on in solar, how you can help create jobs in Kansas, and support a growing industry.
And you talked a little bit earlier about how it varies by location, and it also can vary, depending on if you're coming from the perspective of a business owner or a homeowner or a landowner. So those more in-depth workshops are kind of designed for them.
Absolutely.
I think. What kind of, I know you don't want to go into the nitty-gritty, but what are some of the policy or elements there you'll be discussing?
Yeah, so we'll be going over like on the local rules. There's a lot of the utilities are going to actually buy back the extra energy from you, and they do it differently, in the investor-owned utility areas versus the cooperative areas. So just kind of understanding that, and I think when people understand that, the wheels really start to turn, and they can understand the benefits. I just went solar on my own house. It's been turned on for like a week, and so it's been cool to see what's actually being produced there.
And we've actually had some sun.
Yeah, it got turned on
It's a
on
little
a good
iffy
day.
there.
Yeah,
Cool, that's
for
great.
sure.
Do we have any questions from the audience yet? Okay, great. Well, I think we've gone over most of the questions I had for you. Did you have anything else that you wanted to add? for folks?
No, I mean, there's usually all types of people at these deals. We've done workshops and presentations before, so bring your questions, and we'll be happy to answer them.
Yeah. Okay, we do have a question.
Andy, what made you decide to put solar on your house?
Yeah, so I just bought the house in June, and for the same reasons that I wanted to buy a house instead of rent forever to build equity. And I mean, everybody knows the pitch for buying a home. I'm now a owner of my own energy too, which I don't think people realize you can actually be. And these solar in general's going to last decades. So my panels in particular are going to last for at least 40 years. And so it's not something that I'm going to have to re-up in 10 years or anything. So being able to own my own energy, seeing I've got a monitoring system on my phone. I can see what's going on. It'll tell me, today you were 50% solar. Yesterday you were 100% solar. It's a pretty cool deal.
Excellent. Great.
We have another question
All right.
from the audience from Daryl Hart, a longtime CEP friend. He wants to know, do we have dates and locations for the presentations yet?
We will be announcing those soon. We have a few. The first, I believe, will be late May. We're looking at the one in Wichita for that. So watch the CEP website for those details. We do have a page where you can sign in for more information and to receive updates once that information is released. And we can put the link there for you soon. We also, on that page on the CEP website, have a link to this publication that was a discussion guide that was developed by the Kansas Leadership Center that kind of outlines some of the issues involved with distributed generation. And as I said, there's a link to this on the CEP site too. So if you really want to dig in a little bit before you attend one of these events, it's all in here too.
We have another question.
You guys are great questions today. Good.
Yeah. Can anyone attend the workshops, or is there a specific type of person who should go or maybe not go?
Yeah, anyone can attend it. Not a problem. You don't have to own a home or a business that could go solar, because there are solar programs out there that allow you to partake in the benefits directly, and then everybody, just by the very nature of solar, benefits from the indirect stuff. So.
Yeah, excellent. Just be a lot of good information, I'm sure. Okay. Keep an eye on CEP's Facebook page. We will be doing some more Facebook Live events soon with several representatives of other Kansas organizations that we work with that are ready to share information about their activities and programs. It looks like we might have another question.
We have another question. I know that Good Energy Solutions does more than solar. Can you talk about the first step people should consider, like energy efficiency?
Yeah, absolutely. So energy efficiency is a pretty good, if we're going in to do solar, a lot of times we will look at other easy ways to reduce energy usage. And so just kind of some, the easiest one is LED lighting. I mean, you take your lighting and it basically costs half as much to light whatever space you have with LEDs over just regular fluorescent lights. And then with HVAC and there's some other ways, but LED lighting is by far the easiest way. And so if you're listening at home, you should really upgrade your LED lights at home. That's a good way to save energy. And the nice thing is that usually you can save enough energy to buy less solar to offset it. So that's a good benefit.
Cool. Great. Any other questions? All right. Well, thank you again to Andy of Good Energy Solutions for joining us today. Thank you all for your questions and for watching. Again, if you have others that you think of later, feel free to write those in the comments, and Andy we'll get Andy to answer them, or somebody else too. We've got one more before we leave.
Andy, what do you in Good Energy Solutions like most about being a part of the Clean Energy Business Council?
Yeah, it is a great way to network with people that aren't actually, specifically in the industry, right? So there's a bunch of solar installers there, but just networking with other business owners and clean energy advocates. It's pretty fun. The social events are fun, but then it also kind of feels like we're not the only ones promoting solar and renewables. So that's always great.
Yeah, it is a diverse group, definitely. All right. All right. Well, thanks again.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you all for joining us. And again, if you have other questions, type them in there. If not, we will see you next time on CEP Live. Thank you.
Thanks.